eye out here.
Clearly, you've mistaken me for somebody who actually gives a...
Hello everybody, welcome back to Screenstars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the 2025 action thriller Flight Risk. The film is directed by Mel Gibson and it stars Michelle Dockery, Mark Wahlberg and Topher Grace. Now the film follows Michelle Dockery's character. She plays a marshal, a US marshal. She is sent to apprehend Topher Grace's character, Winston, who used to be an accountant for the mob, essentially. He's on the run, he's been captured, but he makes a deal. And the deal is that he'll roll over on the mafia boss. Mafia boss doesn't like that, so on the flight back, they have to take like this remote flight from Alaska. This seemingly friendly but curious pilot turns up, played by Mark Wahlberg. It turns out, in actual fact, he's there for a far more sinister reason. He's a hitman hired by this mob boss to take them both out. What proceeds then is a fight for survival way up in the sky. Right, what are my thoughts on Flight Risk? Well, I remember seeing the trailer for this one a couple of months ago. I thought it looked, fairly standard but watchable type of film. And then, realised it was directed by Mel Gibson. That puts another edge on it. You're kind of thinking, well, Mel Gibson's a very good director. So, this should be pretty good. And we haven't seen Mark Wahlberg in a villainous role since... God, way back. Was it Fear? Was that the last time he played a villain? I might be wrong. But I remember that film, watching it years ago, and remembering his performance was quite sinister in that. So I think I'm thinking he could pull this off in regards to being a memorable villain. And actually, after watching this, while it's not, anything spectacular, it's actually a very watchable thriller, this. It's essentially just three characters in this plane. You've got Michelle Dockery, who you'll recognise from Downton Abbey. You've got Topher Grace, and you've got Mark Wahlberg. You've just got these three people in the plane for 95% of this film. It's that dynamic. You get other people, other characters over the radio and things, but physically it's just these three characters on this plane. So you kind of think, what are they going to do with this? So you've got the initial setup, and then you've got them taking off in the plane and stuff, and and a lot of this you're seeing on the trailer anyway, so I'm not spoiling anything here. And then you've got the reveal that who Mark Wahlberg is, and then you've got the scuffle and everything. And then you've got this dynamic that kind of shifts back and forth, because the problem they've got now is Mark Wahlberg's in the back of the plane, but he's the pilot. She can't fly the plane, and certainly Winston, this witness, can't fly the plane. So they've got a problem here. What are they going to do? How are they going to kind of get where they need to go? Because they can't pilot, so they need help. And certainly Mark Wahlberg isn't going to help. At any opportunity given in this film, he is going to take them out and try and take them out. So you've got that dynamic going back and forth that kind of raises its head semi-regularly in the film. Much of the film is about, there's quite a lot of dialogue. A lot of the dialogue from Mark Wahlberg is, as you'd expect, quite sinister and quite dark as well, actually. He plays, I must say, I thought his portrayal here of this Daryl, this sinister hitman, was actually very, very good. I hope he actually does some more villainous roles, because, he's actually very good at it. He's got some very, very dark lines, and he just gets under your skin, his character, and some of the stuff he says, you just kind of like, ooh, you know what I mean? He hints at a lot of things, and some of the things that he says he's done to people, and just kind of thinking, this is not a nice man. And he fully committed to the role as well. He actually did shave his head to go bald for this. And it was his idea as well, Mark Wahlberg. I'm not necessarily sure what it brings to the film, but yeah, he's bald in the film, or balding in the film. But I did very much enjoy his performance. Now, when I first met Topher Grace's character Winston in this film, I wasn't sold. There was such a something about his character, that I just didn't connect to. I felt like he didn't feel like a real person. It was almost like light comedy here and there, and I just didn't buy him. So I really, a big dynamic of this film is the relationship between him and Michelle Dockerty's character Madeline, the U.S. Marshal. You know, there's got to be like this relationship developed, this trust built between them as the film progresses, and you have to feel connected to these characters, especially. And I never fully felt it, if I'm honest. I never really clicked with Topher Grace's character. I did warm to his character by the end. And that's kind of because the film almost kind of forces you to a little bit, if that makes sense. And Michelle Dockerty's character, I don't know. I mean, it was well performed, the character. Didn't have a problem with her at all, and she was actually quite badass, if I'm being honest. I just didn't necessarily connect with that character. It's hard, you see, to flesh out characters like this when 95% of the film is just these three people on a plane. So you do get these conversations back and forth between some of them, and especially, you know, the witness and the US Marshal sort of thing. And there's some things unearthed from her past that she reveals here and there. And there's a little bit of a conspiracy going back. You know, she realizes that someone within the one of her colleagues is ratting them out, sort of thing, to this mob boss, and it does get a little bit predictable. And I did find the ending of the film to be something of a little bit of an anticlimax. The whole idea of she's got to land this plane, but she's not a pilot, and you know she's been given some help, and then everything that kind of could go wrong in regards to landing that plane kind of did go wrong, but the film didn't necessarily sell it to me, if you like. And the whole conclusion of the film just kind of happened, and it just kind of felt for me a little bit of an anticlimax. But I'm nitpicking a little bit there. I mean, it's satisfying enough. It just kind of, you know, you spend the whole of a film thinking, well, what are they going to do when they kind of get to this place? How are they going to get the plane down, and this, that, and the other? And yeah, it didn't necessarily sell it to me, if you like. But incredibly entertaining stuff. I definitely enjoyed it. I think some of the ratings I've seen for this, I think are being a little bit unfair. Is it up there with Mel Gibson's best directed films? No, it's not a patch on, you know, Heartbreak Ridge and Braveheart and some of the others that he's done. It's not even in their league by any stretch of the imagination. But it's very watchable, entertaining, and it's a simple film. You know, it's not trying to be anything else. It's not trying to be extravagant, over-the-top, big budget, you know, massive adventure sort of thing. It's a very, if you like, personal film in a lot of ways. Like I say, I think, as Mel Gibson has said, he just really wanted to make like a small, entertaining film, and it's actually got quite a small budget, this film. So I hope it kind of does well enough at the cinema to pull in a small profit, because it's entertaining enough, I think, to do that. But I also think that this probably would have done better on streaming. You know, if this was an Amazon original or a Netflix premiere or something, you know, it'd probably do quite well on there. It does surprise me sometimes, because sometimes you'll watch something on Netflix and you're like, bloody hell, that should be on the cinema or Prime. And then you watch something at the cinema and you're kind of like, oh, that's all right, I suppose. But, you know, that probably belongs on streaming. But hey-ho. We're not the ones that make those decisions and choices, are we? So yeah, I do recommend this one, guys. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please click the like button. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. And of course, I will be back with plenty more content on the channel very, very soon.